2013 has come and gone, and I wanted to take a look back at the best games of the year for the Wii U. Now let's be real here first off. Despite having a 1-year head start on the competition, Nintendo kind of, ruined their lead. Pretty much the entire year was high and dry with only a handful of notable releases, but that doesn't change the fact that there were still a handful of great games to pick up and play on the console. So these are going to be my top 5 games of the year, and will only be retail games. I was considering the eShop, but the only exclusive that really is worth a damn is NES Remix, so there's that. But alright, you ready? Then let's start it off. You get it? You ready? 'Cause Wii U? Haha, I am a terrible person, I know. The first game after launch that I would really consider to be a must-have is LEGO City Undercover, which totally surprised me, by the way. I really didn't think much of the LEGO games of the past. Sure, they may be quality, but I kind of immediately lose interest whenever a game has a license attached to it, like Batman or Marvel. But now with this, we have a totally original world filled with totally original characters, a pretty decent plot accompanied by hilarious cutscenes, and a huge open world filled with so many collectibles that it'll make your head spin. And whenever you get to the actual main levels, it does start to feel a little bit typical for the LEGO games, and while it isn't bad by any means, the open world is clearly the star of the show. I remember beating the game and only having 28% completion. That is incredible. If you were a big fan of LEGOs as a kid like I was, or simply want an adventure that I guarantee you will laugh at a bunch throughout the entire thing, then do not pass this one up. Pandora's Tower. Hey, wait a second. You can play it on the Wii U, who cares? Pandora's Tower. Yeah, I know I'm sorta breaking the rules here, but a Wii game that released in 2013 that released everywhere else in previous years? Yeah, nobody else is gonna bring this game up. Which is truly a shame because it is really good. The game is basically just a plethora of Zelda-esque dungeons where instead of focusing mainly on puzzle solving, you have a lot more combat, with pretty difficult enemies, really just a difficult adventure in general, and a huge emphasis on your Arachlos chain, which you can use to lash onto enemies, platforms, and really just about everything. My adventure clocked in at about 16 hours, so it is not the longest game in the world, and the story is something that I honestly just did not care for. I won't go into details about how the semi-bad endings legitimately made me angry, but the game itself is great. I actually remember seeing some people earlier in 2013 say that they passed up on this game because Nintendo should have been releasing more Wii U games instead, which honestly is just ridiculous. This is a great game to add to your collection and a great end to the Wii's awesome library. Hey, I said it before and I'll say it again. If Super Mario 3D World did one thing exceptionally well, it's that it made me regret ever doubting Nintendo's in-house developers ever again. This is an absolutely fantastic platformer on all accounts. The levels and the ideas therein are incredibly varied and just a ton of fun. Many of said levels are absolutely beautiful to look at. The game fakes you out like twice, making you think it's all over when it's not. And the soundtrack is superb. Once I went through the game from start to finish, I know that I definitely got the sort of sequel to 3D Land with Galaxy's influences that I wanted. That being said though, the only reason why it's not number 1 is because I think the game does not hold a candle to the Galaxy games, and I'm also one of the guys who's still sorta holding out for a much bigger and grander Mario adventure on the console. But really, nothing I say can take away the fact that this is an exceptional game. And I've also said this before, and I will gladly say it again, Luigi in a freaking cat suit. Just amazing. Oh yeah. Okay, I adore the Pikmin series, so I was ecstatic to finally jump into Pikmin 3, and man, did it ever deliver. It took most of the formula that was set in the original Pikmin and in many ways kinda perfected it. The worlds are huge and just absolutely gorgeous to look at. The gameplay is more refined than ever with 2 great new Pikmin types and a whole lot of fruit to collect. I love having 3 brand new characters to love with a heavy emphasis on Brittany, who is clearly the best. And then outside of the story mode is the awesome challenge mode, offering up a handful of new levels to go through along with some affordable DLC that offers up brand new levels, so perfecting these will take a good chunk of your time. And easily the best part about the game is being able to go through the game over and over again and constantly improve your times, giving off a ton of replay value. Honestly, this is one of the greatest games Nintendo has crafted in years, and I just hope that we don't have to wait another 9 years for Pikmin 4. Thank you very much. It was really tough not going with Pikmin 3 as number 1, but I just had to. I just had to go with the Wonderful 101 as my Wii U Game of the Year, because honestly, it is probably my overall Game of the Year. This game does everything perfectly. The story, an epic superhero tale filled with absolutely hilarious characters, and the ending itself is just amazing. Almost worth playing the entire game alone just for the final chapter. The soundtrack, epic and very superhero-y, firmly shoving you right into the moment for basically the entire adventure. The graphics, super bright and super colorful and incredibly varied from chapter to chapter. The entire game is really just a joy to look at. And then of course the gameplay. It is a bit frustrating at times, but insanely satisfying to nail off combos and blow up every enemy that stands in your way. And even the QuickTime events, of all things, are fantastic. There's also a ton of replayability for collecting everything 100%, easily doubling or tripling your overall gameplay time, and just... I'll be honest, Pikmin 3 is probably the better made game, but I had an absolute roller coaster of a ride with the Wonderful 101. And you can pardon the pun or not, it's up to you, you know it's coming, but it was... wonderful! So there you go guys, my top 5 Wii U games of 2013. Okay fine, games you could play on the Wii U. Sorta threw you a bit of a curveball there, didn't I? And before you go all up in arms about Wind Waker HD, I didn't include it because, well, for one, I haven't played that version yet, and I thought it would just be more fun to give you guys a little bit of a fake out with Pandora's Tower. But of course, I think the Wind Waker is fantastic, no need to worry. But anyways guys, thank you all for watching, hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure to check out my top 5 3DS games of 2013 video, and as always, I'll catch y'all next time.